I, 33 female, lost my husband Jim 13 months ago when he was just 34. Jim and I had been married for 7 years and we were raising 4 children together before his passing. Jim's son Kyle, tween, was the oldest child from his relationship with another woman. Kyle's mom was not in his life. She had been at times but was unreliable and didn't show up to parent Kyle. She'd show up sometimes to remind Jim that she still had rights. Kyle's maternal side of the family had very sporadic involvement that lessened over time, and after many arguments with us, they didn't like that I was the primary caregiver while Jim worked. At times they did their best to alienate Kyle from me. They would tell him I wasn't his real mom or I was out to take them away from him. It created problems and we ended up in court after Jim told them no more contact. At that point they were given access to Kyle once every 2 months and would often take it, but not every time. After Jim died, Kyle's maternal grandparents sued for custody. A guardian ad litem was brought into the case, and Kyle told the guardian he wanted to be with his real family, who he considered to be his maternal grandparents. He told the guardian he was tired of me taking him away from people he was meant to be with. That, paired with a clean home and more money than I had, went in the grandparents' favour, and they were awarded custody. My husband's parents were extremely unhappy about this, and when it soon became clear that the grandparents would not allow any contact between Kyle and his siblings, it was even more clear that my husband's parents felt that I should have done and be doing more. They made some comments occasionally, and I asked them to please not. I told them we were grieving enough without them turning on me. They asked me if I ever really loved Kyle and how I could let him go. The truth is, I do love Kyle and I always have. I would have loved to be his mom and always saw him as my first child. If he showed up tomorrow and wanted to stay, I would let him. I even sent him to his grandparents with a few of his dad's things. But he was messed around so much by people, and I know the trouble from his maternal family caused a trauma that damaged our bond. And I know he's struggling with loyalty issues. Letting him go might be the only way to save him from more. And it's also the only way I can continue to look after my 3 biological children, who have lost their dad. On Saturday, my husband's parents were over to spend time with the kids, and they told me Jim would be so ashamed of me for letting Kyle go. I don't know why this set me over the edge, but it did. I lost my temper in front of the kids, and I told them Jim would be more understanding than they had been, and he would never have wanted them to treat me with such a cruel disregard. I then made them leave. They were furious with me for speaking to them that way in front of the kids. Am I the idiot? Wow, it's okay for them to criticize you in front of the kids, but inappropriate for you to respond. How convenient. You are not the idiot. If Kyle told the judge he wanted to go, then there would have been nothing you could have done to change the outcome. Grieving people can be such idiots sometimes. It's unbelievable. How could you let him go? Because keeping him hidden in the attic would have been illegal. And there are no words for Kyle's maternal grandparents either, like they can eat rocks. Jim's parents possibly think they are helping with their insensitive comments. Indeed, they are grieving the loss of their son, and probably they have misplaced anger toward you, but they are behaving wildly inappropriately given the situation. Do they think it's so easy being a young, recently widowed mom of 3 young kids, and you're supposed to fight the maternal side of the eldest son's family too? I really wish Jim's parents were providing you a whole lot more support and a whole lot less judgment and grief. Maybe you can talk with them at some point about what you need from them. Then maybe you can't. But you are definitely not the idiot here, and I hope things get better for you. A couple of months ago, my girlfriend started working a new role for airport ground operations, which involved driving and getting some certifications. The day she started, her company made a LinkedIn post with a picture of her about how she was the first woman to join the team and also encouraged more women to apply and get the certifications. Literally the day after, she messed up badly at work and crashed a vehicle into a plane. No one was hurt, but the plane was damaged and a flight had to be delayed. It was really silly since she accelerated when she thought she was braking and made it worse. The same had actually happened to her while driving on the road once when she rear-ended a car. It's been a few months since that happened, and I obviously didn't say anything to make her feel too bad at the time. However, we were just talking about it in conversation. I told her that I found it pretty funny since she messed up the day after they made that LinkedIn post about empowering women in these careers. I thought we could laugh at the irony together since it's been a while, but she called me an idiot and accused me of making her confidence worse. She now works a different job in retail, so it's not like she's still working there. Am I the idiot for telling my girlfriend that I found her past mistake pretty funny? So, a big deal was made about her being the first woman at a particular job. She messed up badly right after, and apparently the job didn't work well at all because she's now at a new job a few months later. Sounds like it was a bad and embarrassing experience for her. And you found it pretty funny? Yep, you are the idiot. It also sounds like she lost her job due to this incident. If she was still at her job going strong, it would be funny to the person. She'll soon be your ex-girlfriend. Learn to read the room, dude. When someone has an experience that's embarrassing for them, they need to be the one who makes the first joke about it. And until they do, zip it. Hey honey, do you remember a couple of months ago when you embarked on a new career, were working on your certifications, and your company even used you as a path-breaking woman, and then do you remember how you messed it up? Embarrassed yourself, got fired and now have to work retail? Wouldn't it be funny if someone thought the whole thing reminds them of a misogynistic trope about female drivers? Because I do. You have obviously never asked her how she felt about this. You just decided that enough time had passed so you could laugh about it. Not the idiot, and I feel like people here are being purposely dense. You were laughing at the irony of a situation, not at her directly. It would have been funny if the role were reversed too. You weren't demeaning her or thinking that she was an incompetent woman. With that being said, it's obviously a sensitive topic for her. Let's just apologize and move on. I, 38 female, also think it's funny. If it was something I was sensitive about, I just let my boyfriend know instead of going off on him. I laughed out loud at this story. People need to get a grip. And please stop making stupid LinkedIn posts until you can go 2 days without crashing a car into a damn plane. Like, really? That stuff is funny. My, female 31, and my fiancé, male 35, are getting married. His brother, 41, and his bro's wife, 34, are due to have a baby any day. The kid will be 7 or 8 months old by the time we get married. We live an hour from my in-laws, bro, sis, mother and father. The wedding will be 4 or 5 hours away for us all. 2 months before telling us they were expecting, we had a conversation where, in very clear terms, they told us children are not in our immediate future. At the time, they were living with her parents. She's an only child and he had switched jobs. So you can imagine we were happy, but also confused as they went from no kids, we aren't ready to we're cooking up a kid. This baby is a complete shock and has become the sole priority for my in-laws in a way that has become hurtful. We're having a child-free wedding. The only exception we've made to this is my future nephew. My fiancé asked his brother to be his best man. My sister-in-law is not involved in any part of the day except to be my brother-in-law's +1. My mother-in-law initially said she would plan my bridal shower with my mom. She casually mentioned to me one day that she didn't have the bandwidth to host my bridal shower as she would be helping with childcare for sister-in-law. I don't understand how the two are related, but my mom will plan an excellent bridal shower without my mother-in-law. I pushed my wedding dress shopping date back because my mother-in-law didn't want to spend 2 weekends travelling for dress shopping and a baby shower. My fiancé expected that his brother would plan a bachelor party. Up until recently, the plan was to take an international trip, but now that he will be a father, he won't travel far. My fiancé is unhappy about this and has argued that some of the domestic destinations they're selecting are further than some international places. Now that the baby is due to be here any day, my brother-in-law has preemptively requested that we give them the bridal suite, the space on site at the venue where we can get ready, refresh and relax, access to care for the baby. We were both upset. I'm okay with having their child at my wedding because I know how attached parents can be. Still, I'm not okay with making accommodations for a child who just as easily could not be at my wedding. My sister-in-law is an only child, so we offered to invite her parents, understanding that they would stay at the Airbnb and take care of the baby. They didn't like this option even though the Airbnb is booked, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, it's around the corner from the venue. We offered them a ceremony-only option so they could leave during the cocktail hour. They didn't like this option. It's clear that the priorities of my fiancé's family have become this child. I don't want to be resentful of this baby or my sister-in-law. Yet, before we finalised our menu, we're being asked how to make our wedding comfortable for a baby we didn't expect would be there. Am I the idiot for saying, no, you cannot use the amenities provided to us as bride and groom to give your kids some milk and a nap? Not the idiot. If it gets to be too much, you can always tell your sister-in-law that maybe they shouldn't bring the child. Prepare for a crap storm, weather it out, and when it's all done, you will either find your sister-in-law and maybe your mother-in-law will boycott your wedding, or they will be grateful that you're willing to relent and allow them to bring the child at all. Remember, it's not your mom and sister, it's your soon-to-be husbands. Let him worry about their relationship. You worry about your boundaries and not letting his family walk all over you. Stop discussing it with them. You have given them options. If they don't like them, they can find options or stay home. It's not your job to make accommodations for their baby. They were comfortable communicating their boundaries, and so should your fiancé. If there is a blowback, then just say, "Sorry you feel that way, but the answer is still no," and then repeat. Plus, ensure you inform the hotel and wedding coordinator that no one has permission to enter that room. Everyone's the idiot here. They can ask, it's not like you are the Pope and cannot be bothered by the masses, though I see nothing wrong with letting them use the space with the fiancé, seeing that they are his family. But your whole attitude is coming off as, "It's my day, why do you care about a baby?" It doesn't matter if the baby wasn't planned, it's coming, and yes, the soon-to-be in-laws will care more about that than your wedding. I see your future brother-in-law dropping out of the wedding if you or your fiancé push this too far. While this may be something you're okay with in the short term, it will affect the rest of your lives with this family. I'll start off by saying I, 22 male, don't like my food touching. When I have several different foods on my plate, I have them far apart because I can't stand it when one food doesn't taste the way it should. Due to this, I usually only put on my plate what I eat at the moment. For example, if I'm eating a meal that includes chicken and rice, I'll put the chicken on my plate, eat it, then put the rice on my plate and eat it. This isn't usually a problem at all except in restaurants where I just deal with it and try to push the foods apart as much as possible. My mom never liked this and always scolded me for it, but it wasn't an issue again after I moved out. That was until a few weeks ago when my girlfriend, 24, got annoyed by it. We were eating dinner and she complained that I was eating like a toddler. I didn't exactly respond and just went on with my meal. I'm usually the one making dinner and we don't see each other over lunch, so for the past few weeks, I've been making foods that are just one kind, like spaghetti. Foods where you don't have several different subcategories and it's just one thing, to avoid her getting upset about how I eat again. Now she's caught on to it and is upset at me that I'd rather cook something entirely different than eat like an adult. That kind of hurt me, so I asked her why it's an issue because it doesn't affect her at all, and it's easier for me to eat this way. Now she keeps making comments about me being a man baby. And I'm considering if maybe I should just be less difficult and pull it together. None of my friends understand the situation and that it's hard for me to eat foods that are touching other foods, so I'm hoping somebody here could tell me whether I'm actually being unreasonable. Not the idiot, as long as you don't make a fuss out of it when you eat somewhere else, but the way you wrote it, you just deal with it. Why is your girlfriend making such a stink and insulting you? It's not her business to police how you eat. And insulting your partner because you don't agree with how they're eating their food is a huge no-go. I suspect other people have noticed and just said nothing because it doesn't impact them and they aren't rude. OP, you didn't mention it, but is it possible you're neurodivergent and have some sensory issues? That's kind of what this sounds like to me. In any case, your girlfriend is kind of an idiot. I don't get the big deal over how someone eats. Doesn't strike me as a problem. I'm sorry, but you are the idiot. You're not doing anything harmful on purpose. Still, many people find picky eaters annoying to hang out with because they constantly spend extra time and energy finding specific foods they agree to eat, or in your case, separating your foods. Not everyone wants to deal with a boyfriend or girlfriend who acts like that. If you want to stay with her, consider working on that, or she can start accepting you for who you are, or you can break up. My wife and I just welcomed our first and likely only child at Christmas time. My mother-in-law came to stay with us and help. She wasn't helpful at all. She constantly disagreed with how we were doing things. She did nothing around the house except help with the baby. So my wife did a bunch of housework instead of relaxing. I would get home to an exhausted wife and her mom who fought me for time with my kid. I would make dinner for the three of us and do what I could to get stuff done around the house before passing out and starting over the next day. I tried talking to my wife about it, but she won't stand up to her mom. I tried talking to her mom, and she said she's not here to be our maid. She's only here to help with the baby. I got sick of it. I booked her a ticket home. 3 days before the flight, I thanked her for all her help and told her we would take care of things from here on. She's angry. She says that I'm ungrateful for everything she's doing for us and that she took time off work to help. She started crying about it on social media. Some of her friends and family were joining in, saying I was unappreciative. She drives older adults around to appointments. She makes about $2,000 a month. It's not a full-time job. So I gave her $3,000 and said that we appreciate that she lost wages by helping, so that should cover it. I commented on all her posts that she'd been paid for her time and thanked everyone who reminded me that she'd lost money to help us. She's back home now and whining that she cannot see her grandbaby every day. My wife thanked me for handling it, but some people now say I was heartless for making it all about money. I can't win, but I don't think I'm the idiot like my mother-in-law is saying. Not the idiot. If she's there to help, then she's there to help, not just to hold the baby and make more work for you guys. My wife thanked me for handling it. This tells you all you need to know. Her opinion is the only one that matters. You did good. Now enjoy this time with your wife and new baby. Congratulations. Exactly. If you're staying with someone who just had a baby, the help should be cooking, cleaning, doing the laundry, and maybe watching the baby so the mom can take a nap or shower. But your primary focus should be taking care of the mother so she can take care of the baby. Your mother-in-law is an idiot. Good job, Dad.